Yeah, I mean, the idea being, I guess he's put that money in now. He's not going to put a dollar more into the pot.
I guess the idea being that maybe he thinks Tom has something like the Ace of Diamonds and another card, and he wants to charge him to draw. On the other hand, he could be setting up to bluff the river, turning a relatively strong hand into a bluff here. I wonder exactly what Marcello's plan is. I did not see a raise coming in this spot. Obviously, Tom delighted to be raised here with a flush. More likely to just call down than put a third bet in. He does have to be concerned he's against a queen or ace high flush.
What are the odds? I mean, if he's just called, I mean, if Durrrr re-raises there, is he only getting called by hands that beat him?
No, I mean, Marcello could also have a worse flush, conceivably have something like a set, but I think Tom is better off calling and potentially letting Marcello fire another barrel as a bluff than trying to get more value by re-raising.
I win.
You were right, Marcello was sort of raising for a free showdown there. Though, not all that free when it costs you a $32,000 raise.
It's kind of a neat hand, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm very interested by Marcello's turn raise. It's
very few people
play.
would do that.
That's a queen of
Yeah.
one time on the river.
Yeah, almost anyone would either call or fold there. Tom now up about 61,000.
It's an interesting sort of passage of play. I mean, first of all, Tom Dwan, he's re-raising from the big blind, ace-king, but then checks the flop. I know he missed, but don't usually lead out.
The thing is, in this spot, what I think is going through Tom's mind is that only a better hand is going to call him here, and anything like a gut shot, he becomes very vulnerable to a raise, to a bluff. He has a lot of bluff-catching potential in his hand, so if someone has a hand that isn't as good as his, he can cool down with that, and he might get a hand to fold which he wants in by betting, like an ace-10. Marcello could have something with a king in it, you know, where the cards would come and he could win in a pot, but they're playing so deep, he's not going to win a big pot here.
We're going to see a lot more re-raise and then check.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're watching generally when we're on Jesse, we're looking at TV tournaments where there's a small number of chips in play. These guys are playing enormously deep stacks. You know, you don't want to get too carried away with an ace-king, especially out of position.
And then this thing with the flush. I mean, Tom's hit the flush. He's played it quite slow, let out on the turn, and then just called the raise. There's no bets on the river.
I really like the way both of these have played it. Tom is looking for Marcello to get the maximum value out of his hand or follow through with a big bluff, so he's checked the river. I really like the play there. And Marcello, by raising on the turn, he's taken a free card on the end, you know, so he's kept the pot small by raising. Both very sophisticated plays, and I thought we saw a high level of poker in that hand. It was very interesting.
But I mean, it feels like there's a defensive style going on here from Tom.
Yeah, Tom was actually trying to trap there. That was quite an interesting hand. I just caught something off camera at the end where I think it was Sammy George just sort of butted in and said, you know, no bet on the river or something, and Tom sort of justified himself. I don't know why he felt the need to suddenly justify himself to Sammy, but he said basically, I'm giving him a chance to bluff at me, you know, and Marcello managed to duck the trap. So it was good poker all around that hand.
Yesterday was really nice. I like the windy.
Yes. Maybe later it was a little bit cold, but...
The idea of playing 250 or even 500 big blinds deep, it's something that you rarely get a chance to watch. You do it all the time, Isaac, obviously, but...
It's not televised so often. It's a bit harder to follow sometimes. The simpler pre-flop poker can be more appealing to a wider audience a lot of the time, but I'm really interested to see something like this on TV. Here Tom has 3-bet again. He has aces this time, and Marcello's called with king 9. Flop misses Marcello completely. He's likely to get away cheaply now.
Oh, you gotta love that. That's the same thing he did with the ace-king, right?
Exactly.
So you have to balance your range.
Yeah, I like that Tom has decided to check here.
And Marcello checked behind him. Was it a check raise, perhaps, that he was going for? Or
Maybe a check call to set up a situation where Marcello could continue to put in more bets on later streets. After all, he did just check call with the ace-king on the previous hand, and it's bound to have occurred to Marcello that if he bet again on the turn, he would have taken it down. Though I'm not sure Tom actually showed that ace-king, now that I think about it. Marcello ended up betting king 10, having improved on the end. Tom just called and mucked.
and feels kind of like an easy pass for Marcello. What more is involved here?
Well, he could either call or raise, but no, he does pass. He could call and try to take it away on the end. Tom checks, or he could raise right there. Raising there after having checked back the flop, it's hard to see what he'd be representing.
Well, looking at the stacks, Durrrr now with the lead.
Yeah.
Sort of getting the feeling very early in this match that, different than the Sammy match, where kind of Tom sort of just seemed to discover something and stick to it, it's going to be a little more doing a lot of weird things.
Yeah, especially early on in a match like this, you have to try a lot of different things and try to find a weakness. Wow, Tom has re-raised with 8-5 off here. Marcello calls, pair of nines.
Well, if you can re-raise with 10-5 off, I can re-raise with 8-5 off.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how Tom plays this. He's flopped a pair and a flush draw, but neither of them particularly good. Once again, he checks after having 3-bet before the flop. Marcello checks behind.
And that check, ooh. Wow.
Ooh, that's interesting. Tom has completed his flush and Marcello's made a set. But a set on a 4-flush board is not the sort of hand Marcello's going to lose a lot of money with.
This pot is remarkably small.
And now Marcello has filled up. Expect Tom to probably check again here. No, he seems to be going for a bet.
I mean, would Marcello have ever checked a big club behind twice like that? Not really. Would he have? Could he have?
A big club, probably not. Not an ace or king, or probably even a queen. But a 10 or a 7, very likely. Marcello making a clear raise here with his full house. Tom in an ugly spot, and that's a big raise.
Well, it's a really confusing spot, isn't it? Because it is. I mean, what is it?
Too good.
Well, it's not too hard to see Marcello showing up with a full house there. Just check back the flop with something like Jack-9, or as he had pocket nines. And then he hits 2-pair on the turn with Jack-9, but it's on a 4-flush board, so he checks it back again.
But it's good. Everybody now play poker, even in Italy. Between 16 years old, 17 years old, until 24, 26. Everybody.
It's just really big.
It's
really big.
It's not big that it will be more bigger than that.
It is
than what?
Italy,
Than now.
the fastest growing poker market in the world right now, as far as new accounts go, new people playing that haven't played before. Italy is going mad. One of the things, though, Isaac, is that in Italy right now, you're only allowed to play online if you play at an Italian poker site.
That's a trend that's been building recently. France tried something like that for a while, so did Sweden, I believe. The government monopolies on poker are an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, and in a related development, several young online Americans have moved to Rome. Marcello's led at this pot here?
Yeah, he's flopped huge, and Tom has a gut shot to the nuts, so he's not going anywhere either, especially with position.
6, the key card.
5, not a bad one either. Wonder if Tom will try to value bet this. It's pretty thin, but not unreasonable. Or he might check back, as he does. And that completes Marcello's flush. Imagine he'll bet. Going for a check raise here is an interesting play as well.
I mean, when Tom's looking across the table, you could just feel right now he's looking at Marcello like he's very dangerous.
Oh,
check
yeah.